Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to another clip from the club. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. And thank you to Super 6 for sponsoring us. Super 6 is absolutely fantastic. It's a great game where you predict scorelines. You get 6 correct, you can win £250,000. And guess what? Next week is the last one of the season. So you've got the last chance to win £250,000. It's free to play. The link's in the description below. Download the app. And while you're at it, join our league, because if you miss out on the £250,000, you could beat myself, Rory, Buvey, and the rest of the OGs in the league to a £100 classic football shirts voucher. Sounds good, doesn't it? Get stuck in, download the Super 6 app, and we'll see you in a bit.
You're watching a clip from the club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
So here you go. Here's a lovely clip from our podcast.
The treble winners 99 versus the potential Man City treble winners. Early in the script.
I was hoping you would slip up there, you know. I was sitting here like,
no way.
Please.
I'm a pessimistic Man City
treble
fan
winners
for
against
life.
treble winners. Please say it. I just want you to hear you say it.
Let's just do a combined 11. Let's go through positions.
I don't think we're ever going to agree on anything.
Because you won the treble and actually have done it and you did it in a 4-4-2. We'll do it in a 4-4-2 and keep it simple.
I think we should do 2 separate teams and Rory decides.
I'm going to agree with you for most of it. I'm not going to go heavy.
All right.
I'll tell you what, you two should do it and I should have the deciding vote.
The keeper's easy. Obviously, between Ederson and Schmeichel, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say Ederson. So obviously, Peter Schmeichel gets in, of course. That's easy.
Ederson is a fantastic goalkeeper, though. You have to say it's not as clear cut, but yeah. Schmeichel is one of the greatest of all time.
I think Guardiola would take Ederson because of his feet, but that's it. I mean, overall, it's
his look, with his feet,
Schmeichel's
probably not.
Throwing,
his distribution
though,
with his hand.
Throwing. You remember he used to like throw into the other half. He used to throw into the other half.
Yeah. 100%. Right back is more of a debate than it ever used to be because of 2 incredible performances by Kyle Walker against Real Madrid. He's got more physicality than Gary Neville. He's got more pace. I'd still take Gary. I'm not going to say it because I think Gary Neville still gets in ahead.
I was about to say, I think Gary Neville is disrespected massively, like for his football career. I seen someone talking about him the other day and he's like, bro, you've never seen him play if that's what you think. You know what I mean? They were disrespecting his crossing or something like that, saying he wouldn't be able to do it at Trent. It's like,
watch Euro 96, mate.
Yeah, just watch Gary Neville. You know what I mean? Like you point out, like the overlaps named of what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, but Kyle Walker might be better. Might just be.
There's aspects of each of their games where
leadership
one
level,
is better than the other.
Positioning,
intelligence.
Probably Neville.
Yeah.
Longevity.
Actually, I think Neville on the ball was decent.
Silverware.
Kept it simple.
Kyle Walker's had longevity though.
No, he's at Tottenham for the vast majority.
He was very good at Tottenham.
He didn't win anything. Look, Gary Neville was winning trophies from when he was
What did Gary have?
19.
12 years at the top and Walker's had 7. So that there is a gap. It might end up
10 league titles.
10 leagues. That's crazy.
Maybe.
So we'll put Gary Neville in. For me, look, I have to
I'd go Stones and Stam.
Well,
but the trouble is Diaz has to be in it.
Diaz has to be in
Diaz
it.
has to be.
Stam has to be in it.
Yeah.
The difficulty is you can't leave Stones out here.
You can't.
And Ronnie Johnson was a fantastic defender, by the way. But I just think Jaap Stam is the dead cert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would Ronnie Johnson start it?
Yes.
Not David May?
No, not a chance. David May, like, people didn't like him being at the top of that picture.
Right.
Because he wasn't.
Because he wasn't. It's like he did the Jose Bosingwa.
Yeah. Like,
just get near the trophy.
Right.
Yeah.
As a City fan, I'd put in Diaz for me as the centre-back. I think you want your defender first. Ruben Diaz.
Sam Diaz.
He's come to the Premier League and he's won 3 Premier Leagues in a row. And he's got us to a European Cup final, a European semi-final, and a European Cup final.
Something feels wrong about leaving Stones out, but this is how it's going to be, isn't it? Throughout this feature, in a minute we're going to leave someone else out that's going to feel weird.
Well, it has to be Dennis Irwin at left back. Goals, assists.
I can't say anything. I think
kicks.
The only thing again is like
Ake's
your Kyle Walker shout. Ake
No.
would be
He's not a natural left back.
Yeah.
Even a Kanji has had a decent run, especially with Ake's
But not the
injury,
longevity.
No way. And we've never had that long-term left back like a Dennis Irwin or Everett even. A little bit later for Man United. Rodri, I think
midfield's difficult because systems are completely different. You've got a team that played a midfield 4 with two wingers. You've got a team like in a 4-4-2. In my opinion, I don't know what you two think about this. Kevin De Bruyne plays in David Beckham's position. In a 4-4-2.
Let's add that's too complex. Kevin
No,
De
I'm
Bruyne,
just saying, I'm
I
just
know
trying
what
to
you
explain
mean.
the issues that we have here. You have issues in that.
But
you can't like.
No, but
You look at Grealish. You look at Grealish as the winger.
In terms of comparing central midfielders here, it's Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne versus
Beckham and Keenan Scholes.
Exactly, and let's just work it out.
Keenan Scholes are the greatest central midfield partnership I've ever seen. But Kevin De Bruyne is...
Hang on. Hang on. Are you agreeing with that?
Look, Keane over Rodri, of course. I think Rodri, if it was Rodri versus Scholes,
What formation we do?
I think, hang on. Are you about to not have Kevin De Bruyne in this combined team?
No,
Kevin De Bruyne has
for
to
me,
be.
it goes Keane and Kevin De Bruyne.
No, I'd
middle
go
of-
Keane, Scholes, Kevin De Bruyne just in front of them, and one striker.
We agreed 4-4-2, didn't we? We did agree 4-4-2. And then you put Beckham in there. We can have
I didn't know we agreed on a 4-4-2.
He did. Buvey was very chivalrous at the beginning and went, look, you played 4-4-2, let's do it that way.
Okay.
Because you won it in 4-4-2. We've not won anything.
Yeah.
All right. So
that means that the midfield debate needs to be the 4, and you two work it out.
The 2 in the middle, Keane is easy. Rodri gets a shout. He can do so much. He's so well-rounded.
Keane over Rodri,
Hasn't got the legacy yet.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne is technically gifted beyond doubt of Paul Scholes.
No.
He is.
No.
The legacy is slightly different. I think he does everything to a higher level than Paul Scholes.
Pep would even take Paul Scholes.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. I know that. Look, I'm trying to be as fair as possible.
I think we should ask him.
Okay, so we're in agreement. We're in agreement. If
review on Spotify.
Roy Keane plus 1 at the moment.
I personally, my midfield 4. I'm like Gary Neville on this. Like, I can't move off that midfield 4, and that's why I went. All right, I'll give up one of the strikers for Kevin De Bruyne. That's why I had that viewpoint. Like, you play a 4-4-1-1 kind of thing.
Yeah, we saw that on Sky, didn't we?
So what would you do? Put the whole of the Man United midfield in? Yeah. So what? Not Bernardo Silva, not
I'm
not
being
Kevin
very
De Bruyne,
harsh
not.
here, and I'm very biased. Yeah.
I don't think Adam's playing the game.
No.
In the truest sense of the word.
It's called diplomacy.
Okay, now let me
The UN wouldn't exist
prove why
in this world.
No, let me say why I'm doing it.
No, of course,
that midfield 4 as a unit was better than anybody. As a unit, you've got to remember as well, a midfield 4 works differently to a midfield 3. Beckham and Giggs getting backwards and forwards, covering in defence and working in attack.
Yeah.
Keane and Scholes had everything.
You're right, but for the purposes of this game, you can't look at it as a 4. You have to look at it as 4 individuals.
Yeah, you can't, because we don't have a unit. We're constantly chopping and changing.
You have to look at it as
Football's
4
changed.
individuals, Ad.
Football's changed.
For the purposes of this game, which is totally arbitrary.
Are there any units? Gundogan's playing the false line at points. Foden drops in at left back.
You are right. If we were picking like 4 midfielders,
All
you'd
right,
probably pick all
Gundogan don't
of
get in ahead of anyone for me.
No, of course not.
Rodri don't get in ahead of anyone of me. That's why I'd go De Bruyne off United's midfield.
But
Is the answer
maybe with Haaland.
Can I give you an answer, central midfield, and you tell me if you can live with it? I know you're not going to like it, but if you can live with it, just to keep this moving. Are you happy with this as a midfield 2? Roy Keane and Kevin De Bruyne.
don't say no.
You can't drop Scholes.
You can.
I've got a bad feeling that
I'll
this
go
isn't gonna
4-4-1-1.
work as a.
We have to talk about football and not kind of
You
nostalgia.
can have the final vote.
We have to talk about what football.
Okay,
I mean,
in that case, in that case, so
You can have the final vote.
Adam's not gonna do it. In which case, I'm gonna play my
That's fine.
my top trump card,
I like
and I'm gonna
being
go
forced to do
the
so.
midfield 2
Yeah.
is now you need to keep talking about the wingers. The midfield 2 is Kevin De Bruyne and Roy Keane.
Which
Yeah.
is
Right now, who plays on the right side of the middle?
Beckham versus Bernardo Silva. Of course, Bernardo, massive shout, and he'll go down as one of the greats to play for the club if we win the Champions League.
Beckham second place.
What am I going to say about
World
Beckham?
Player of the Year that
Yeah,
year,
what am I going to say?
by the way.
Beckham
What am I gonna
Beckham on the right. This is now a bit trickier.
And then we got Jack Grealish versus Ryan Giggs, which is very different positions in terms of they operate on the left, but as different kind of players.
I think Jamie Carragher was a horrible decision.
What did Jamie Carragher say here?
Grealish.
Yeah, he
And
put Grealish.
Over Giggs.
Everyone knows I love Jack Grealish, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are reasons. There are reasons to put Grealish in over Ryan Giggs, which are maybe more off the pitch stuff.
No, but that's not a reason.
On the
Sorry,
pitch-
that's not this conversation,
Yeah.
Adam. That's
But
not
on
this
the pitch,
conversation.
and I think that's probably what Carragher was doing. But on the pitch, Ryan Giggs has to. Ryan Giggs.
Can I ask what? I haven't seen the edited version of that clip. What is it? What does when Jamie Carragher is having that conversation? What does he say? What's his
I don't know.
reasoning?
I've just seen the teams.
Oh, you haven't.
Yeah,
you haven't heard him discuss it.
no,
Oh, sorry. I thought it might have happened when you were in the studio.
No.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought it was off that show that you did. I
we've got
I
Monday Night
literally
Football.
can't think of a reason. I can't think of a reason how you can argue Jack Grealish Jack Grealish elevates his place over Ryan Giggs. I can't think of one reason.
Carragher only talks about he actually had better numbers this season than Giggs. But I'm not gonna.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go silly with it.
Listen, I think if you want to say that Ryan Giggs shouldn't be in this team for other reasons, then let's not put him on the table. But if we're putting him on the table, then I'm afraid he's in the team. Yeah,
Let's do the front 2. This is going to get tricky.
See, my one would be
because of the partnership.
Yeah, but you've got to
those
divide
individuals.
it.
Yeah,
Haaland's a better striker than York.
Haaland's a better individual striker.
He's a better
goal scorer.
Andy Cole. I'm
I
not
think
going to
Andy
talk about
Cole's
him.
the best striker out of all.
But out of 2, it was Cole over York, wasn't it? in that season. It was.
York was very good, you know.
But Cole had a better season in 99.
Scored.
No. York had
He's
more
more of a
goals.
scorer.
It's York and Haaland.
York had more goals.
I'll take that. Yeah.
But overall, York was a bit
more of a
deeper, wasn't he?
playmaker.
Bit deeper, yeah.
Andy Cole was the striker.
I'd rather have Cole and Haaland as an 11, but I know obviously.
I'm really surprised. Can I just? Do you think that Andy Cole is like a better natural goal scorer than Erling Haaland? Yeah, I don't think it's that wild. I just didn't think that you were going to say that.
I think.
Is he?
I think
that's what
I didn't say that.
Did you say Cole over Haaland?
No, I said Haaland's the best goal scorer here.
Sorry, I heard it wrong.
Pure goals.
Yeah, sorry, I heard it wrong.
Yeah.
I thought. Also, by the way, I didn't think it was that wild.
But Andy Cole would always get in a 2 up there for me. I think Andy Cole's so underappreciated, man. That's why I'm trying to make the biggest effort to kind of toot his horn because he's so underappreciated.
Yeah, you went under the radar.
I think it's kind of gone all full circle now, though.
Now it's like Lampard used to be so underrated, and then it became like everyone calls Lampard underrated, so now he's overrated.
Yeah, Modric.
Yeah. But
There we go.
Modric winning the Ballon d'Or.
I think we've done quite a good job there, lads. And who would be the manager?
Sir Alex.
Pep Guardiola.
Sir Alex.
Won the same amount of European Cups and half the managerial time as Alex Ferguson.
The only manager to beat Real Madrid in a European final.
The only manager to beat Sir
to
Alex Ferguson
break
in a
the old
European
firm.
Cup final was Pep Guardiola twice.
The only manager to break the old firm.
Where was that, Adam? Was that Rome and Wembley?
We don't have to talk about Man
Where
United.
you lost those 2 European finals.
I know. It was Pep's best teams, though, that.
Yeah, that he built himself.
Did he?
Yeah, he brought at least 4 or 5 from the academy.
I think it's an interesting one, and I think that the debate is there. I'm probably slightly... I'm always going to go Ferguson. I think a lot of people, if particularly anybody younger than me, will be saying Guardiola.
The reason you can't do Guardiola...
I always say Sir Alex Ferguson.
He's never taken a real, true challenge. He's never taken that. And people will look at it and go, oh, Man United spent all this money in the 90s and stuff. Fergie had to go into an Old Trafford that was in decline, needed to be, rejuvenated. The team was fucked. He had to get the academy going again. He was single-handedly putting those feelers out there. The academy wasn't already there producing players, and Fergie turns up and starts developing them.
Of course.
He started telling people to
I don't think anyone's debating that.
This is interesting, though. Do you think, Buvey, that like when I was young, or even not even that young, like a decade ago, Sir Alex Ferguson was just in a league of his own. Like it was never.
He still is worse. But
do you see a world maybe where Pep Guardiola is that? Like, can you see a world where
Pep... Of course, he's
really?
So close to Ferguson. Look, he's not above Ferguson. Of course, I was being flippant. Of course, right now. But if he retires he could still retire in 20 years' time. I think he'll end up with more Champions Leagues than Ferguson. I think he'll play at his peak. He had the best club side in the history of football, in my opinion, with Barcelona. He built a lot of those players. He brought Busquets out of the academy, Pedro out of the academy in the reserves. He brought Piqué for very little from Man United. He gambled on Piqué, wasn't the player that he was before Guardiola brought him through. Messi's best numbers ever in his career under Guardiola. And don't forget, Barcelona under Frank Rijkaard, the season before he came in, and he was a novice manager, Guardiola, were absolutely terrible, out of Europe, I think it was. He went in there first...
in the semi-final.
Yeah, he went in first season, he won the first treble in Spanish history. The first treble. This is serious.
Is that what he did in his first year?
His first managerial season. So we talk about Aberdeen. Look, that's an amazing achievement. But you don't. Lewis Hamilton doesn't drive a Mini around. He drives the best cars because he's the best driver. Guardiola deserves to be at Bayern Munich and Man City. So that's what I'd say.